With 2025 coming to an end soon, I figured to do maybe like one or a few more reflective videos talking about an anime that turned 5, 10, 15, etc. years old this year. And today I wish to talk about another anime that came out back in the spring of 2015, to be specific, by Doga Koba Studios, and that's Plastic Memories. Plastic Memories is a show that, for me and many Doga Koba fans alike, was the true gateway to what Doga Koba Studios had to offer at the time, and was essentially the catalyst to what was to come. And if anyone who has kept up with what Doga Koba Studios is known for, they're known for giving us the infamous and most popular show under their belt currently with the Oshinoko series, with its third season slated to be coming out next year of January 2026. So before even Oshinoko came to existence, there was a show called Plastic Memories. And this was a little show that came out around this time period when Doga Koba Studios was still like trying to get their foot into the anime world itself. After all, given like this was a show of its caliber and it was competing against other big juggernauts during this time, I mean, I think a lot of people nowadays remember this show or have heard about it at one point or another, but have not really given it a shot or checked it out. But I can confidently say, like 10 years later, after Plastic Memories has come and has gone, and I remember the show super fondly, I think that this is still an incredible show that is worth watching. Again, in a way too, it was also ahead of its time as this was also like one like a bit of a foreshadowing of what was to come in the near future. And the reason I think this was a foreshadowing what's to come is simply through me just reading the synopsis right here, right now, where, again, when I read the synopsis, bear with me, like a lot of what I'm about to say is kind of reminiscent to like what's going on currently in the real life world. So here we go. 18-year-old Tsukasa Mizugaki has failed his college entrance exam, but after pulling some strings, he manages to land a job at the Scion Artificial Intelligence Corporation. Psi Corp is responsible for the creation of Gifshas, highly advanced androids which are almost indiscernible from normal humans. However, unlike humans, Gifshas have a maximum lifespan of 81,920 hours, or around 9 years and 4 months. Terminal Service 1, the station Tsukasa was assigned to, is responsible for collecting Gifshas that have met their expiration date before they lose their memories and become hostile. Promptly after joining Terminal Service 1, Tsukasa is partnered with a beautiful girl named Isla. She is a Terminal Service veteran and considered the best in gift show retrievals. Contrary to her petite figure and pleasant nature, time is fleeing though, and Tsukasa must come to terms with his feelings for Isla before her time is up. No matter how much someone desires it, nothing lasts forever. And again, by me just reading this right here, right now, this should give you a pretty clear picture of what this show is all about. AI. But not really in a sense. This was, again, 2015, before all the AI stuff has come into existence in the fold, in mainstream, and everywhere you see nowadays. And I feel like Plastic Marriage was just ahead, like foreshadowing of what would happen if humans and AI, in this case, had genuine connections in a weird sort of way, and the consequences of what happens when you share those connections with someone that isn't a full-on contact to contact human being. And it shows because, again, 9 years and 4 months for the gifshas in this world to last, that's even shorter than a dog and cat's lifespan, if I'm not mistaken. So with a show and the premise this gorgeous, this beautiful, it definitely goes into a lot of really strong, happy, but also depressing territories. Because again, this show is not like a show that you can really watch through all the way through and sit through in one sitting. Because there are moments in the show where a lot of the scenes can be really upsetting, really hard to cope with, and that's what Plastic Memories is trying to aim for. Is that this show tackles in a lot of really strong subject matter, more specifically how to deal with losing the person that you consider your best friend, your loved one, your God knows what for so long, and having to deal with the fact that they're going to be gone forever because of this gift show society that you're living in. And there isn't like a whole lot of comparisons to really mention or say that's similar to Plastic Memories, other than the fact that this is a show that is for the faint of heart. Like if you're like a really emotional slice of life connoisseur of a person, then you may not get a lot of bang for your buck with Plastic Memories, to be fair. After all, a lot of like the ideas of Plastic Memories does remind you a little bit of some other shows that go in this vein, like Angel Beats, for example, from back in the day, where again, if you know about Angel Beats, how the show rolls and how it ends, it's a emotional roller coaster ride where you love the show and then it just ends on such a sad and grim high note. Or maybe even movies that came out earlier that came out past this point, like I Want to Eat Your Pancreas, which again, similar premise, has a depressing ending, but the beginning of that movie is so damn good, it's heartfelt that you just are left wondering like, man, the journey to the end was it really worth it at the end to make me feel this depressed? And that's what you're gonna get with Plastic Memories, man. Like this show really does encapsulates a lot of the themes and subject matter that it portrays really well, where a lot of the main subjects that it focuses on is dealing with grief, dealing with trying to move on when with after you lose that partner that you've been super connected with. And then again, focusing on how what would happen and the consequences of what happens when a human and AI grows a strong bond. And when you pull those two away, it leaves in such a really bad state where like the human psyche can be brainwashed and believing that no, AI is humans too, like we have to care about them. But slowly but surely, as we move forward into society and currently in the modern day and age, I think people need to realize that AI isn't going to be your friend forever. And shows like Plastic Memories, I feel like is like a good showcase of what is to come and what has been going on since the rise of AI music, AI girlfriends, AI what have you not. And again, Plastic Memories to me 10 years later is absolutely incredible. The animation's still spot on for Doga Koba Studio standards for its time. The music is absolutely incredible. The voice acting is stellar. Like you can feel every voice acting, and like whenever certain gifshas are ready to go or they don't want to leave, you can feel the emotions hit so hard with each episode. And again, by the time you get to the final moments of the episode, you are actually just left in the pilot seat for once, where you not only don't want the show to end, but simultaneously the characters that you come to grow throughout these 13 episodes, you don't want the relationship to end. You want it to continue and move on. And it does leave you like crying and showing some emotions for once. And that's what I would have to say about Plastic Memories in a nutshell. Again, 10 years later, I think this is a must watch. It's a classic anime that is worth talking about. And while it may not like live up to a lot of juggernaut animes that have turned 10 years old, 5 years old this year, and there are clearly shows that are better, that are much better now in this vein, I think before then, Plastic Memories was really just ahead of its time. And I feel like, this should be much more talked about now when it comes to like what was really like ahead of its time, what was ahead of the curve, what was a special one of a kind anime. And to me, I think it was Plastic Memories right here, right now. But yeah, just simply wanted to reflect and talk about Plastic Memories, and that's really about it. I'll see you on the next one. Later.